Hi, this is Kenneth,
Hi, Antony here.
and this is going to be a new series that we're making on the metaverse and mental health. Specifically, loneliness, especially in America. If you were to consider it a disease, it would be at endemic levels. There's been a lot of talk about the metaverse leading to possible negative health effects, even though what people are conceptualizing it hasn't come yet. And I think this is actually untrue in the sense that we think that the metaverse can be beneficial to mental health and specifically loneliness.
Yeah, and very specifically, because we are in the augmented reality industry, we're talking about a metaverse that exists in the real world. I think there's going to be a lot of discussion in the next couple of years in terms of how VR is affecting mental health and how AR is affecting mental health. One thing I think that is happening in the discussion of this is, well, we don't want to isolate people, right? So in the world where we have VR and we all have goggles on our heads, is that isolating? Maybe, maybe not. I think on the pessimistic side, if you're wearing goggles and you're doing an experience by yourself and that's all you're doing day in and day out and not interacting with another person, that could be bad for mental health. Maybe in this far off future where haptics are involved and we put on VR and we can actually feel that sense of presence with another person, like really, really feel it, see facial expressions, body language, then that probably is good for mental health. Now, in our industry, in AR, where we see it being very helpful is AR is inherently in the real world. Mm-hmm. So with a game that exists in augmented reality, Pokemon Go, for example, Ingress, Pikmin Bloom, a lot of Niantic properties, they encourage people to walk outside, engage with their digital world, this digital metaverse that exists in the real world, and then they meet other people at those events. And I think that is where it is really, really great. Instead of playing a game at home, and even if you're playing Fortnite with someone, you don't really see them in person. But with augmented reality, you can be having this digital game experience, and then it culminates with a big party or some type of community event. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah. I think something else that is a potential for these experiences is, like, first off, we need to talk about, in terms of AR terms, we haven't had really real true persistence where you can gather people easily at specific points because GPS level accuracy. Do you want to give a quick description of that previous problem?
Well, you're getting to like the accuracy of AR experience.
Yes. Yeah. For the past few years, for the most part.
This is more of a technical problem, which is, AR experiences, if we want to go somewhere and see like a digital object interact with a building, a statue, some other landscape feature, and we want it to look really, really accurate, prior to some recent developments in the AR industry, it was kind of off. So like, let's say there was a fountain and you wanted water to shoot out of it. Well, the water sometimes would be like 3 feet off, so that didn't make sense. But I would say, though, that even when we talk about things that are a little more broad, but we still define as AR in terms of like geolocation, augmented reality, that has already had the power to bring people together.
Yeah.
So if there is like a Pokemon Go community day and there are thousands of people there already getting together to play the game, that's already really cool. And then this next level of AR, which is now let's all get together and see this really cool visual experience that's part of our game, that's almost like we're mixing these really cool realities where it's like part in person, part just talking to another person, and part like a movie, and all existing in the real world. So that's where we're approaching.
And specifically for us, we're going to be talking a lot about this topic, but historically from the TTRPG, which means tabletop RPG world, a lot of people make great friends role-playing as characters. And so that's part of the allure of the in-person tabletop experience. Something that we'll be working on is kind of trying to bring that same possible experience happening in real life, where maybe like we can go to a fountain. And do you want to describe like a possible idea for an experience that we're thinking about?
Yeah. I mean, just to start off with, like, the community that we really love is like people who are into RPGs, tabletop RPGs, MMO RPGs, and also live action RPGing. And so there's something really special about that community because you're trying to interact with other people in a lot of these games.
And you also have to collaborate while playing.
Yeah.
And so the community, I think, is great because it's not as toxic as some other gaming communities can be because these people are used to collaborating.
Yeah, especially with like TTRPGs, Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, that's more akin to just getting around with your friends drinking a beer, and then there's this game going on that kind of fills that gap. And that is kind of where we see it as well, which is like, how do we foster that connection with people first through these additional experiences where it can just promote what you might have done already. So maybe if me and Kenneth were gonna just go on a walk, we were gonna go on a hike, and we just wanted to have a little bit more adventure, then that's where an RPG could come in, and that's what we're trying to build, which is like, oh, let's go on a hike, but also at the top of that hike, there's a quest.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that just makes it so much exciting. Okay, we can collect a resource for our game, but at the same time we got to go on that hike, we used our bodies, we connected in a real way, and it's just an extra kind of fun thing to do together. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the way we think about it.
That'll be wrapping up our introductory session. Something we might be talking about next week is how AR can encourage more movement, which will lead to physical health in addition to mental health that comes with that. Maybe.
I mean, I think the research is pretty strong now. They're quite heavily tied together. So if you're not moving your body, your mental health will suffer as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Okay. See you guys.